I just added myself to the conversation. You don't know how much of a conversation I had before I just added myself to it. How is everyone doing? I hope you're having a great Sunday. It's fine over here, uh, even as we slowly wind down the summer months. Guys, so how many people watched the ITV interview? There has been a lot of conversation about it. I have been watching everybody else's videos and I have my own point of view about some of it, which is different, I think, to what some people are saying and thinking and doing. A lot of it is the same, but there are just a few points that I thought that I needed to add to the conversation. So this is the reason we're going to be discussing the tabloids' rage as they respond to Prince Harry's ITV interview. It's funny that we're calling it Prince Harry's ITV interview because Harry wasn't the only person who was interviewed for that documentary, Tabloids on Trial. But I suppose because he's the most notable person, his name is always in the forefront when it comes to the cases against the tabloids. Let me say hello to everyone in the comment section. Lakiva, Connie Palmer, how are you doing in Baron's voice? How is everybody else doing? Hello, Rosalind. How are you? For everybody else, if you'd like to say hello in the comment section or in the chat, let's say hello. Let's network. Let's engage. Give me a thumbs up if you don't want to say anything. That's also fine. Give me a thumbs up for people in the chat as well. If you'd like to say hello, that would be great. That's lovely. Okay, so how many people? Hello, Mama Jane. Hi, how you doing? How many people watched the interview? I watched it a couple of times, as a matter of fact. It's surprising to me that the first time I watched it, I went in thinking that I wasn't going to hear or see anything new in the interview because I think I'd seen someone post a comment about it saying that there wasn't anything new. Only for me to go in and watch it. And while the majority of it had been spoken about before through different media outlets, I must say, it not through Harry. A lot of what was being discussed was Harry has not directly addressed before. He has made passing reference to some of the stuff, like in Spare, he didn't go into detail of the phone hacking. He mentioned it in passing. In the Harry and Meghan documentary, he did refer to the media harassment. But now in this documentary, they went into a bit more detail. It's still not as detailed as it could have been. And if you have watched, or sorry, if you have read the Byline Times articles on uh, like the Dan Wooten involvement, the how Doreen Lawrence's son, Stephen Lawrence, came into this issue, you would know that what they did was a very summarized version of the sequence of events which has led to Prince Harry bringing his case against the tabloids. So, since the interview, the usual suspects have gotten into formation with the obvious goal of deflecting from the allegations in the documentary. They are playing the usual tricks of deflecting away from the real issues. They are deterring to get people to focus more on the breakdown of Harry's relationship with his family rather than focusing on the main issue, which is the fact that the tabloid industry have been accused of uh, illegal activities, criminal activities, as a matter of fact, because phone hacking, unlawful information gathering is illegal. So it is just the fact that they're doing. It's funny the way they do it, and you kind of have to always remind yourself of what the issue is when you are looking at this situation. Who finds themselves in that position? You kind of have to remind yourself of what the actual issues are. Hey, Lady Rose, welcome to the video. Anyway, so I am going to do talk us through a lot of what the issues are. I know that the squad is already very aware, very up to date on some of the issues. What I bring to it, though, is some of the other perspectives that other people have not yet mentioned. So let's dive in. But before we do, welcome everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Isabella Bank's YouTube channel. If you're new here, I'm Wizzy, and it's great to meet you virtually. How has your week been so far? I hope it's been great. Okay, so moving on to the video, the interview. It kicks off. Let's do a review. What did Prince Harry actually what was the documentary actually about? So let's talk about how the interview kicked off with us being reminded that Prince Harry has already won one of his cases with the Daily Mirror and the Sunday Mirror, where he was awarded 140,000 plus in damages. And I thought that was such a great place to start from. Okay. I thought that was a great place to start from, because it's people like to give the narrative that he is just fighting all these battles in the courts. He's not gaining anything from it, whereas that is obviously not the case. It's just the case that we have a few people who are shouting very loudly to drown out the voices of the reasonable thinking people in the UK. um I love the energy of the interviewer, Rebecca Barry. She was great, I think. Um, so, just as a reminder, the things Prince Harry is complaining about are phone hacking, phone tapping, illegal tracking. They would literally put a tracking device under anything he was on, whether it was a motorcycle, a vehicle, whether it was him or anybody related to him or somebody he had a relationship with, or they even saw him having coffee with. They would begin to track that person, and literally that person's life will descend into chaos. They would hire private investigators to access information about him and the people that they see him associate with. They were literally stalking this man, you know, just as he was saying. So one of the, I was very surprised to see. Did you guys see this guy called Nick Davies? He was the one who broke the Millie Dowler case. And for those people who have not been following, the Millie Dowler case was a case of a very young girl. She was 13 years old. She went missing, and there was, a lot of, it became very high profile. The parents of Millie Dowler had notified everybody who needed to be notified. The media had carried the story, and they were pretending to help the family of Millie Dowler. Well, I suppose they were publishing stories trying to help Millie Dowler's parents find Millie Dowler, but at the same time, they were trying to see if they could hack into her phone. And later on, it was discovered that Millie Dowler had been unalived. And when they did the investigation, they discovered that while they were doing the investigation, while they were doing all the things that they could do to find this girl, The news of the world knew where she was because they had hacked her phone, but they didn't share that information with anyone. How horrible is that? But it doesn't end there. Okay. This Nick Davies, who broke the story on the Millie Dowler case, he commented on the judge's ruling in Prince Harry's case against the Daily Mirror, which he won earlier this year. He highlighted how devastating the ruling was in the sense that the judge who ruled in that case stated that the phone hacking and the unlawful information gathering was so widespread that the senior executives could not reasonably have said that they didn't know what was going on. And as a matter of fact, they actually lied when it came to the Levinson inquiry, which was quite shocking, an indictment. And immediately, if it weren't for the fact that the system is corrupt, that on its own should have triggered a police investigation, but it didn't trigger the police investigation. In fact, Harry called for it. Immediately he came out of the court. He said, now we've gotten this judgment. What we're expecting to see is that the police should investigate this matter. But they didn't do anything about it. Shocking. Am I shocked? Not really, because I realize now, you know, that it's going to take a lot more to get the police to actually move their finger. I was quite surprised to see this guy in the interview because from all the indication, it's clear that he supports the tabloids media practices. Listen to this soundbite that I have got for him. Oh, I forgot that this does not work. Let's see. Let's see. So just a second. So can you guys hear the audio? Can you guys hear the audio? It looks like you can't hear the audio. So he had actually come on to Good Morning Britain, where he was talking about um where they were interviewing him and asking him about whether he felt bad about being part of the journalists who had hacked Harry in the past. And he said no. He didn't. That he didn't think that everybody that although you have your right to privacy, but do you need privacy? It's almost like they're sick in the head about the way they think about these things. It's almost that they're sick in the head. So uh let me see. Before we continue, if this is your first time on this channel, please hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment or two in the comment section. If you're part of this channel, you know that we are on a drive to actually achieve 10,000 subscribers because we have got a project at hand. I'll be discussing that later on in this video, but please go ahead to subscribe to the channel. Every subscription matters right now. Thank you very much. Okay, so we also had a chance to hear more details from Hugh Grant following his decision to accept the settlement offer um, from NGN, who is the publisher of the Sun newspaper. This was quite an interesting one because he told us how his flat and his office were robbed because they were trying to find information. In fact, they were so blatant about the robbery that they actually removed the whole door of his flat from its hinges. Ah, that cracked me up. Can you imagine it? This was done in broad daylight. In order to get into his flat, they had to remove the door from the hinges. And people around there, this is the thing about this culture in, shall we call it the abroad, where people mind their business so much. Nobody's stopping him to ask him, my friend, what are you doing? You're obviously not the owner of this property. How come you're removing the door from the entrance to this property? And also, it signified that they were so confident that he would not be home. Anyway, he added dimension to the conversation by saying that as soon as you call the police to report any of these kind of issues, the police call the journalists. My gosh. My gosh. I will come back to the comments in a second. I will come back to the comments in a second. Let me just get to like a quarter of the way into this video so that I don't waste too much of your time on here. I will scroll back to address your points. I can see your hand up, Lorna. Uh, then we had Nick Davies. He introduced the issue of the royal phone hacking scandal, which happened in the 1980s. How Clive Goodman got caught hacking the phones of the royal family, which was investigated, and Clive Goodman was arrested and then got convicted for it. Okay. Then Nick Davies reminded us again about the hacking of the phone of Millie Dowler, the girl I was telling you about later, the 13-year-old who was discovered missing and then later unalived. And when they did the investigation, they realized that the media had known where she was because they were able to hack her phone, but they didn't share that information with the police. Oh my God, I remember that time, it was an uproar here in the UK. All right. Then we have Baroness Wheatcroft, the former Sunday Telegraph editor between 2005 and 2006, who has said this is another important point that politicians in the UK don't usually like to get on the wrong side of the media, but if the public feel strongly enough about an issue, then the government has no choice but to intervene. Okay, so remember what I said there. If the public feels strongly enough about an issue, then the government has no choice but to intervene. And this is why a lot of the battle in these cases that Prince Harry is bringing has been fought in the court of public opinion, because Harry has been trying to get the government to take action. What is the action he's been trying to get them to take? The Levinson 2 inquiry. Because there's no one who will look at the details. I haven't even seen the evidence myself. And I can already see that there's grounds for bringing up the Levinson 2 inquiry, except, of course, with every rule, there is an exception. So they've been able to avoid activating the call for the Levinson 2 inquiry. Anyway, but this is the same way that people felt strongly about the Millie Dowler case. This is why the Millie Dowler case keeps coming up, because initially, the police didn't want to do anything about it, but there was such an outcry from the public that they were forced to carry out an investigation about what had happened with the Millie Dowler case. Right. So, and it was the Millie Dowler case that led to the Levinson inquiry, which was initiated by David Cameron. And I'm sure you saw that in the documentary. Now, in the Levinson inquiry, all the major employees of the media houses that were dragged down to the inquiry denied phone hacking or unlawful information gathering, like Piers Morgan, Rebecca Brooks, Richard Wallace. They were all among those people who were questioned and who denied any involvement with the phone hacking. Okay, before I move on, let me just have a look at the comments. So I'm scrolling back. Lady Rose says, I haven't seen you in a minute. Okay, yeah, that's true. The last time I was on Wednesday, and I was watching this video. It just took me a minute to put this reaction video together because it just took me a while to really put it together in a way that made sense for me. I had to really, really think about what I wanted to say. Hello, Lorna. How you doing? Um, Lady Rose says, I think like the journalist mentioned Charlie and McMumble's Big C. She was told to say that. I can see how you would say that, but she couldn't. She is supposed to be a journalist. So if she didn't ask the question, they would accuse her of giving Harry an easy ride. It's obvious. That's what everybody is saying. And I don't even think it is a question. I also found the question quite funny. I think Harry also found it funny. Did you see his face when he responded to that question? It was almost like, he's one of those people who cannot keep his feelings off from his face. You can see he wears his heart on his sleeve. You can see exactly how he's feeling when you look at his face. So it was almost like, what? Why are you asking me that question? Have you not been listening to everything that I've been talking about? But I think she needed to ask that question so that she can at least defend herself against accusations that people would say she was giving him an easy ride in the interview because she's not working for him. She's supposed to be an independent journalist. So she's giving him an opportunity to say what he came there to say. Now she has to also cover her patootie. She has to cover her bum bum. So um Lorna says, did you notice that after Harry won his first case, the tabloids, that all the tabloid rats are leaving the ship? They still, yes, a lot of them uh I think it's the tabloid world is shifting, but they have reinforced, they have changed things around a bit, and we're going to discuss that later on in this video. Jessica says, interesting how he feels he can make the determination as to whether someone needs privacy. Amazing. Audacity. Yes, exactly. I felt exactly the same way. Like, how dare you tell me whether that I don't need my privacy? Hello, who are you to tell me whether I need privacy or not? This is the reason why I said that they were very that the reporter is a bit, off his sick in the head. It seems like he doesn't even know what he's saying or what he's doing. It seems like he doesn't even know what he's saying or what he's doing at all. So I just noticed a troll, and give me a minute while I put on the troll spray because I have kicked the person out. Um, but I just need to make sure that they're out. Okay, put the troll spray on, back to it. Now I'm back. Gwen Daniels, yep, she got paid. That's why I keep telling Harry to stay away from these people. Harry can't stay away from them. How else is he going to get his story out? He needs to be able to find an outlet in the mainstream media where he discusses the real issues that is bothering him. It's easier. It would be an easier life for Harry if he decided to turn his back on the UK, didn't go back, didn't sue them, didn't do anything. But I think we're just going to have to accept the fact and listen to what he is saying. First of all, look at the man. The man is a British man, he is a blood prince, and he has told us that it is his mission to bring about media reform. If we're going to support Harry and Meghan, we need to support what Harry is doing. It's just what it is. And otherwise, it would be so much easier for him to take the money he got from all the deals that they made in America and just forget about the UK. But Harry has shown time and time again that he doesn't intend to do that. I don't know how else Harry can show that he doesn't intend to stay away from the UK. This is where he comes from. For us to ask that, it is definitely out of love and concern. But just because you have a fight with your family doesn't mean that you're going to avoid the entire country or public living as a whole. This is, if Harry was that kind of man, I don't think that a lot of us would admire him. So, what are we going to do? There has to be, we have to find a way to build a bridge between what we want from him as Meghan's husband and what he's willing to do. How are we going to achieve that bridge is the thing, because if we don't get on board with what he's trying to do, a lot of us are going to find ourselves. I mean, I see it on Twitter happening all the time. When Harry does something, especially when he decides to come to the UK, or he, like when the Invictus Games was when Birmingham was selected for the Invictus Games, Harry lost a lot of followers from there. But if you are following the sequence of events, actually, you would see that it makes sense for the Invictus Games to go to Birmingham. Now, we may not like it, but that's because we're not close to the action to see what the metrics are for him being for the basis of his decision making. Just think about it. If Harry had decided that he didn't want the Birmingham Games to come to the UK, regardless of what offer all the competitors for the opportunity brought to the table, then he would be accused of being prejudiced, especially given the fact of all that is happening. Harry is trying to maintain a presence here in the UK, intends at some point, I'm sure, to bring his family over to the UK for them to be able to enjoy it. He's just not doing that right now because of the cases going on and the security issues that he probably needs to get together. So, as far as that is concerned, let me leave that alone. Mm, Then, okay, let me just, okay, no, let me look at your second comment, Lady Rose. Wheezy, could you start asking squaddies to share your videos on platforms so that we can get that 10K? I want to see the Human Rights Watch ASAP. Yes, I've actually asked a few people to do that, but I haven't seen much much progress as far as that is concerned. But um I feel like it's going to be a process that we're going to have to come together, and then certain things will need to happen. I think when people know more about it, then they will subscribe. But it's fine. I will still start the work, but that is doing the research, and doing consultations with people in order to get the Human Rights Watch involved in this, the Amnesty International, all the other human rights bodies who can get engaged with this. I am going to be getting involved. I'm already started talking to a few of them, and they're already telling me the things that I need to put together to make the UN petition work. I am going to start having channel members only videos very soon. But I just, at the moment, I'm just gathering the information, but it won't be too long. In the next week or so, then we will start having those meetings so that you can see exactly what I'm doing behind the scenes. uh, Lorna Williams, I saw the UKPM answer to a reporter about Levinson too. Absolutely BS. He said he didn't have the time of that with everything else on the agenda. Exactly. I'm going to even talk about that later on in this video. Lady Rose, I see your point, Wizzy. I still don't like her. Me neither. And I just thought to myself, it was quite of interesting that it was a blonde, blue-eyed lady who did the interview. It's almost like she was presenting herself as an alternative prospective wife to be. That's the kind of woman that I think that the UK would have loved for Harry to go with. Unfortunately, once you go black, you can't go back. Yeah, Deborah says Harry is doing what he has to do. The British media has gotten away with too much, and Harry is going to expose them all. Cookies and Cream says, I wish Harry could emotionally distance himself from that ungodly family. These people have more than shown that they care less about him and his family. They want Meghan and the kids permanently done. I think he has already done that. I think he has already. Harry is not talking about his family. He's just talking about the issue. I think what I am finding more and more is that people equate the family with the UK. The UK is small compared to America, but the royal family are not the whole of the UK. So Harry is perfectly able to come into the UK to do what he wants to do without seeing his family. I don't think I see in any place that Harry is making reconciling with his family a priority. He didn't go to them when he came to the UK the last time. And he and the Spencer families stood up where the royal family didn't come on board. Lorna says, I didn't like the decision about Birmingham, but I took the time to look at the Birmingham proposal and their resources for veterans. Fantastic. I did too. It was great, wasn't it? But I don't even think it was more than that. Lady Rose says, let's use Twitter, Facebook, IG, and all those to share these videos to get more subscribers. Okay, I'm going to stop with the comments here just so that I can get through the rest of this video. Okay, so just going through it, Rebecca Barry brings up the question of whether Prince Harry was paranoid. And, I just thought it was kind of interesting that she raised that point. This is another one which falls into the category of that question about King Charles and Kate, because it is all over the place. This is what people are saying, that Harry is paranoid and he's this and he's that. And it wouldn't be a balanced interview, I don't think, if she didn't bring that up and give him the opportunity to respond, see, to people's comments about him being paranoid. And I even loved it, actually, that she brought it up, all uncomfortable as it was, because it gave him an opportunity to respond to, in a contrary fashion, to William's comments about his mother, where he said that his mother was paranoid. Harry says, are you paranoid if what you're thinking is happening is true? So I love that. So far, they went on to the impact of the smear campaign, of the media harassment on people. They went on to the impact of the media harassment on people, and that gave them the opportunity. That gave Harry the opportunity to say, "I am never bringing my wife to the UK." That's where he said he made the comment about one lone actor choosing to attack Megan. Um, so I thought that was really funny. So now I think all those news articles, is Megan coming? Is she not coming? That's done now because Harry said he's not bringing his wife to the UK. He didn't say whether it was permanent. It was a permanent position, but I'm guessing that it's a temporary position after all. If you are married to someone, will you always, how will your relationship survive if you're always going off to a place without the person? And the heritage that Harry has is a very rich heritage, and he has a position which is supposed to also be complemented with his spouse. He doesn't have to be in touch with the royal family for certain things. But if they're going to, I don't know how they would navigate if he constantly, for the rest of his life, never comes to the UK with Megan. Maybe it's just me saying that, but I think it would be very difficult at a certain point if it was a permanent position. Um, What else did they talk about? Okay, so when Rebecca, here, this is what you guys were talking about. So when Rebecca asked him whether he considered whether the court cases were worth it, taking into consideration how short life is, especially when he considers his father's cancer diagnosis and Kate's cancer diagnosis, Harry genuinely looked confused, like, have you not been listening to what I'm saying? I'm telling you how all of this is impacting me, and you're talking about my father's cancer. It's almost like it's almost like it was like, have you not been listening? It's almost like, have you not been listening? It was just ridiculous. Mm. Then uh So this lady who you can see on the screen, her name is Baroness Whitcroft. She says that the problem is there is a huge suspicion that the unlawful information practices continue in the UK until today. And it is unfortunate that not much has been done to stop the press from continuing with this, what they call the dark arts, because only 8 people so far have committed offenses and be held accountable or convicted for the crimes committed by a whole industry. I mean, when you're talking about how many people work for the Daily Mirror, the Daily Mail, and all the tabloid papers were engaged in this practice, and yet only 8 people, 8, have been convicted or convicted for the crimes committed by these people. It's kind of ridiculous, no? Anyway, it is, and just to show you the kind of practices that we're talking about, look at this recent case of Kate Beckinsale. When Richard Eden came out with a story saying that Kate Beckinsale opens up about the difficult time she's going through with her mother's cancer. It was a totally made up story. And Kate Beckinsale had to come out to debunk the story on her socials. That just proved that these people just come out with pure lies, and they've gotten so powerful that they just do things with reckless abandon. Um, a reckless abandonment. And this is where the legal reform that we're looking for should, from Levinson 2, should come in, right? And let me go back a bit. Uh, no, I will do a few more slides before I check out the comments. Okay, so this is continuing on with the story. They did say that one of the reasons why the Levinson 2 inquiry did not proceed was that there was a huge cover up by the media, the government, and the Met Police. 30K emails were deleted after the press were told not to delete emails. And guess who was said to be at the center of the destruction of the evidence? It is the current Washington Post CEO, Will Lewis. It appears that he has also been tasked with infiltrating American media to ensure that as many UK journalists come over to America as possible. And I must say, it's working. Yep, it is. Why do I say so? Because you've got also got a British man at the helm of the New York Post, which is also a Murdoch run outlet. He has been trying to recruit British journalists in place of American journalists, even going to the extreme of firing American journalists to make room for the new British journalist recruits. This there was You can see that there was a tabloid scandal. It was an in-house scandal that they had at the time, but they're still trying very, very hard to do it. Can you see this on the screen? Okay, let me take this thing away. Look at this. So the GB News now has a GB News America channel, which is also hosted by GB UK journalists, but it gives the impression that it is the American people's opinion of Harry and Meghan that is being given in the YouTube channel. You also have one or two people from the Spectator who are Americans who are calling in on this channel. So when people hear the American accents, they believe that popular this is the opinion of the majority of the people in America. It is a real battle for public opinion, but I know that you guys know this already, right? What I thought was funny was how they highlighted the difference in the approach between Prince Harry and William. Did you guys see that? It says Murdoch phone firm paid secret phone hacking settlement to Prince William. I thought that was really funny. I'm glad that they had the opportunity to highlight that. I also love the fact that they brought up the fact that the Queen was in support of Prince Harry taking legal action against the media. As a matter of fact, there is evidence of it. It's not just a conversation that the Queen had with Harry. Harry had an email from the palace saying that the Queen approved threatening NGN with legal action. Okay, so before I move on to the next bit, let me go over the comments again as well. Um, this, this, I've done this already. Harry's girlfriends weren't looking good at all. No, 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 no. Hi, Carlene. How are you? It's been a while. Good to see you. Ingrid says we must always continue to support him and pray for him and the entire family every day. Yes, yes, yes. The Queen Elizabeth Hospital for Veterans in Birmingham is modeled after Walter Reed Hospital in Washington, D.C., and Birmingham is where the majority of vets go for care. Yes, that's their first port of call in the UK, Birmingham. That's why it had to be Birmingham seeking the bid for Invictus Games. This is why I just can't get with these people. It's a bunch of BS, paranoid. Really? Yes. Harry was a child when his mom was being terrorized by the toxic British vendetta press. So now he's a man. He's standing up to them, not only for his wife, but for his mother. Yes, 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 and yes. I'm okay with IG going to Birmingham. Looks like the city needs it. Let's hope they keep the focus on the veterans and not on Meghan's absence. safety is a priority. Well, I would like to hope, if this is me being optimistic, right? I would like to hope that Harry has already settled the issue by saying that he would not be bringing his wife to the UK, but we can never tell whether that will be enough. Joe Baker says, Wheezy, but if his wife and children's lives are at risk, then it's expected that they stay away, no excuses. Yes. Um, please, I need to say this again and again and again. I am not saying that Harry is wrong for saying that his wife should stay away now. My prayer for Harry, Meghan, and their children is that they're able to build themselves up financially, build themselves up uh, everything wise, so that they can be completely free. To me, being completely free is being able to go to the places where you would say, oh, the UK is the royal family's territory, but their house is not the whole of the UK, right? So Harry has his Spencer family here. He's got his childhood places that he went to. Why should the dispute with the royal family cut him off from all his childhood memories just because of the dispute? Is what I'm saying. And Harry is not a civilian, he is a blood prince. He comes with a very rich heritage. So, why should the dispute with the royal family cut him and his wife and their children off from their historical heritage just because the royal family is in a snit? If they are billionaires, then they can hire like 50 people to go with one person in the family on a trip. So if it means that they have to have 200 guards to go with them, say if they want to go and visit Princess Diana's grave, say if someone in the Spencers family is getting married, say if just the normal things you would do if you were spending time with your family. Why should his dispute with the royal family cut him off from his entire life in the UK? That's what I am saying. They can't fight with everybody in the UK just because they have a problem with the royal family. If people in the UK that support the royal family don't want to associate with them, that's fine. But they have people here who want to associate with Harry. I'm going to need you guys to expand your hearts a little to allow for that small group of people who love Harry and Meghan here in the UK, who want to see them. Harry is going to want to maintain his relationship with those people. And what I'm saying is, how does it help the relationship between him and Meghan if he's going off doing things that Meghan is not part of? And there is no way to bring her into it ever, ever, ever. Surely the prayer should be that he becomes a billionaire so that he can afford as many security personnel as he wants, so that when he comes to the UK, he can be guaranteed that his wife and children will be safe. Screw the royal family if need be. And then when they see that he is coming and going and he's not even paying them any attention, then maybe they would decide that they would down their tools. But yeah, I think that being from the UK is something that is important to Harry, and Meghan by way of marriage becomes part of that. Also, Lorna says, give it 3 years. If the Labour Party is down in the polls and they have an election up, they will open up Leveson 2 just to expose the Tories. And also, this is why I'm calling for extra things to do, like the Human Rights Watch, the UN petition, and so on, because that might not still be enough. That might still not be enough. The I will come to it later on in the video. Cookies and cream said we have social media. We need to use it aggressively and put the garbage like GB News, America, and Spectator on blast. Let everyone know how they are trying to infiltrate the US media with their mess. Yep, 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 and yep. And the UK tabloids are attacking Harry interview as a distraction from the real issues discussed in the documentary. Yeah, this is exactly what I am saying. This is exactly what I'm saying, that the UK, this issue with the media has nothing to do with the royal family, except that the royal family have had dealings to do with the media, which now makes the media, and the media probably have things that they know about the royal family, which makes the media say, look, we're friends, we've helped each other in the past. Your son is trying to sue me, can't you do anything to stop him from suing me? The royal family said, bet. Watch this. So they take away his security, take away his money, try to break his marriage. They've tried to do everything, all because of the secrets, undoubtedly, I'm sure, that the media hold a, about them. And to them it's almost like, but Harry, you know that there is every possibility that the media have something on us and they're likely to expose us, so why don't you just stop? And Harry said, well, I would have stopped if you had just stood up one time, just one time, to support me and my wife, but you didn't. So watch this. Watch this. Uh, uh, Joanne Baker says, I understand that, but again, his wife and children's safety is paramount. That's why he's fighting for security from UK. It brings a set different level of security. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. That's why he's fighting for the security. It's not even so much about trusting the security when it's been given, it's about the intel I think he will receive just from having the access. And I'm of course I'm not saying that Harry was wrong. I think I said that before, but for those who are just joining the chat, who I realize that this is a very hot issue for people. So I'm just repeating the fact that Harry is not wrong at all in trying to make sure that he keeps Meghan and the kids safe. However, he's doing all this so that he has an opportunity to bring his wife and children to his country at some point in the future. And we have to be okay with that. It will be easier to block himself off from the UK if he was a civilian, but he's not a civilian. He's a blood prince with a very rich heritage. That's not something that is easy to get rid of, to cut, to disconnect from. I myself am from a royal family in Nigeria. I know I have been in the UK for 20 years. I still don't feel like this is home. When I go to Nigeria and I step my feet on the soil, from just from the entrance into the town, once I mention my name, it's a different thing altogether. I literally don't even have to have money from the time I enter my town. Like almost everybody in my area knows my family name. And then you say, just turn your back. You had a dispute with your father. I don't have to go to my father's house. I can go to somebody else's house. That's not something you just throw away just because. Hmm. Judy says, I'm convinced that Uncle Charlie has been there for him since he made the promise that he would. I think there are a lot of others as well. He'll get protection from a lot of people. Absolutely. 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 We need to be okay with this particular issue. Harry is not going to turn his back against the UK ever. If he is going to be made to do that, I think it will be hugely problematic for him. It's just not something that you do. Eh, um, Sussex Love says the army does not get any support from Charles, their commander. It makes sense that Harry would go back to not let them stop him from bonding with fellow soldiers he served with. Yeah, but I think this the reason why they rushed to make William the commander in chief of Harry's old unit is because they were trying to get into that relationship. But there is no basis for any understanding for any relationship, you know. But they did that deliberately because they want automatically the soldiers become legally loyal to William. So if they're going to get up to do anything, then they could be tried for treason if they do certain things and he's not their commander in chief. Anyway, guys, let's continue. We're almost done. So how many cases does Prince Harry have against the media today? All right. So Mad Huri on Twitter, she was kind enough to set out the cases for us. So he's done the Daily Mirror case with the trial concluded June last year. The trial concluded this year, and then he's got the Sun newspaper. The Sun newspaper, and the trial for this one is set in January 2025. And then you've got the Daily Mail, which is, and the case against the Daily Mail is still pending. The trial schedule is still pending. There is no date yet of on the cases that he's got against the Daily Mail. Okay. But you see that this is July. So we are 6 months away from the case that he's got against the Sun. And the case he's got against the Sun is not just him. If he wins this case on the grounds that he is likely to win it on, which is unlawful information gathering, phone hacking, so on and so forth, it will open the doorway for other claimants to come forward. This is part of the reason why they are fighting tooth and nail, not to make sure that either the case doesn't happen or Harry loses. So I think this is the reason why they're also trying to make sure that they offer a settlement to Harry. So, what was the summary of the documentary? What were the points that you got out of it? So, first of all, Harry stating unequivocally that he was a victim of phone hacking and unlawful information gathering, which has severely impacted his life and continues to impact his life today. Okay. We heard the testimonials of people who have been affected by phone hacking, and this includes former Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Can you imagine that the phone hacking even extended up to government level? Government level, guys, government level. Then Prince Harry was very careful not to divulge future plans in the documentary, but you can see that if he is willing to expose himself to the extent which he has done, which has attracted this media abuse, then he is willing to go the distance on this matter. It was a great opportunity, I think, to tell everyone not to expect to see Meghan and his children until this case and the security cases have been settled. And it was a great opportunity to tell everyone, to remind everyone that his gran supported the court cases that he brought. It seemed like it was even their little secret. So, um, what's this? Uh, oral. The media and the royal family knows what is Harry is saying is true. Our older folks don't come out of the house after 6. Uh, his royal family are the people who have turned their back on Harry. Harry really will not make people love him. Yeah. Mm. Who want to bet William will start showing up at IG events in Birmingham over the next couple of years? Will he? William seems like he is such a petty person. He's so petty that even when he knows it makes him look bad, he will not change how he decided to act. What I mean by that is it would actually look better for him if he starts to go to Invictus Games Birmingham. But he knows that if he starts to go to Invictus Games Birmingham, people are going to say, oh, so now suddenly you're going to a games in the UK. What about the Commonwealth Games? What about this? What about that? He will not. He would rather send someone and try to find a way that they could humiliate Harry. So they would want to send, what's the name of that there um, person? Mike Tyndall. They will rather send Mike Tyndall and rather put him in a position where he could make things difficult for Harry. So William would be the puppeteer of such an action. Then Dana says H will not turn his back, and he shouldn't because he was born there. A son of the king of the UK was born into the royal family and inherited the risk. This is just what it is. Um, Gwen, the Queen let everybody know she supported him during her jubilee. For real, for real. That entrance was epic. For real. Kathy Gabby says, I'm not sure William has that long of an attention span or focus. Yes, that's another thing. Did you see that he has stepped down from the FA? He is no longer, they're not winning. So he doesn't see the advantage of being the president of the FA any longer. Honestly, this is what I'm saying. William, even when he knows that a thing will make him look bad, he will not step back from his childish behavior just because he won't. No. Anyway, so what I think of all of this is we are now at a point where new strategies need to be put in place to push back against the smear campaign. The Sussex Squad have done an amazing, amazing job. In fact, they shocked the royal family, especially on Twitter, where the owner of Twitter favors right wing issues. He favors the right side of issues all the time. But I've noticed that once the media got over the shock of the presence of the Sussex Squad, they have responded by flooding every media outlet, including social media, with content from the smear campaign. And I'm going to do a detailed breakdown when I'm talking to the channel members in the coming days for you to see what I am talking about. But when you think about it, initially, when this all started, we had the members of parliament the 72 members of parliament who wrote a letter to the media or the minister in charge of the media telling her about the smear campaign. Did it stop the smear campaign? No, it didn't. And currently, what is going on is known as stochastic terrorism, which is the use of mass media to provoke random acts of ideologically motivated violence that are statistically predictable but individually unpredictable. Yeah. This is when that happened, then what did the British media do about it? Nothing. They didn't do a thing. They didn't do a thing about it. They let it go on as it's carried on. It's even gotten worse, I would say, over time. And now we are at a stage in the battle where it seems to me that something different needs to be done. I'm just trying to see if I can find that Keir Starmer's video where he said that oh, I found it. That is fantastic. So what happened then was Keir Starmer was asked in a recent interview what he thought about whether they would be reissuing or reactivating the Levinson 2 inquiry. And this is what he said.
Second part, first, we've set out. There's an ITV documentary that airs tonight about unlawful press intrusion, which has renewed calls for a public inquiry. The father of Madeleine McCann has spoken to ITV News, in which he says it is critical that the government has the courage and integrity to keep its promises and proceed with the second half of the Levinson inquiry. Prime Minister, will you keep that promise? And what do you say to Jerry McCann and other victims? Well, let me deal with the second part first. We've set out in our manifesto our programme for action for this government. We've laid that out in the King's speech. That clearly sets out our priorities, and the second half of Leveson is not among them. I've been clear that one of the purposes of mission-driven government is to be clear about what we can achieve, the time frame, the purpose we need to put to it, but also that it dictates our priorities.
Did you guys hear that? He said that the Leveson 2 inquiry is not his priority. Okay. But you know what? I even kind of understand it because you guys can't even begin to understand the kind of mess that the Conservative government left the UK in. But what I do know is that where it's pressure groups, right, that have the ability to apply pressure on government to make things a priority. So if we keep doing what we have we have been doing, we'll keep getting on what we have been getting. So what are we dealing with at the moment? Where are we with all of this? There's a lot of conversation around about all of this. The thing is, Prince Harry is not letting this mission go. He is going to be taking each court case to the maximum that he can. You can see it. He can see it. He is a modern day activist. And the media are fighting against media reform. Why? Because they will lose their power over the people whom they literally blackmail, allegedly, to retain their power. And from all indication, this group includes the royal family, the politicians, etc., etc., etc. It becomes clear that Prince Harry, as I said, he wants to associate with the UK. He's a blood prince after all. And coming to the UK doesn't mean he's coming to the royal family or the media. This is why the fight continues. Because if he is going to have true freedom, he should be able to come to the UK, come and go as he pleases with whoever he pleases, and to be able to guarantee their safety while he is doing that. So, I think if we continue to advocate for Meghan not to participate in Prince Harry's UK life, it may be problematic. It may be problematic for them. I don't know how they would get over that part because the UK is a huge part of Harry's life, while America is a huge part of Meghan's life. And while he's happy to move there, I foresee it as something that could potentially be problematic if he cannot do the things that he needs to do. As I said, we need to remember that he is not a civilian, he is a member of the royal family. That's a different thing entirely. We might not understand it, we might not respect it, but if someone says that something is important to me, then you kind of have to give room and space for that thing that is important to the person. America will never be Prince Harry's home. UK is Prince Harry's home. That's just what it is. So, guys, what can we do? But before I look at that, let me look at your comments. Harry needs to realize that Charles doesn't want him there, otherwise, he would fix the mess so Harry and Meghan can visit with no issues. And besides, William accepted a settlement. Yes, but as I said, King Charles does not equate the whole of the UK. Harry can make a life even in the UK without being part of the day to day of the royal family. Uh, just wait until the hackers catch up with the new UK PM. They hacked Gordon Brown. Yes, imagine that. Just imagine that. That's disappointing. Disappointing from the PM, right? Yep, but are we surprised? Not really. I'm not surprised. There isn't enough pushback. There's not enough influence to make him to change his position on something that could potentially threaten his role as prime minister. They said the Pure Storm got together with Murdoch and made some kind of deal about something he would not do. I wonder what that is. It says they got together before the election and got in bed with the devil. Yeah, it is totally possible. I have an article which says that Keir Starmer champagne with Murdoch. He is getting ready for power. Well, this is the reason why we need to kind of put pressure on the government, because if we put pressure on the government, then they will have no choice but to do something about it. Keir Starmer, continue to have a blessed Sunday, Sussex Coast family. I'll see you as soon as I can on the Sussex Street. Got to go. Remember, watch, pray, and do. Take care. All right, love. Why do people write such nonsense? Harry said himself he should have left 4 years before. He said himself that US is their home. No, you don't get what I mean. He may be living in the US. His home with Meghan may be in the US, but where you come from is your real, like your home is what I'm talking about. Uh, I think we need to take it easy when we're talking it to each other. Don't get so triggered. Just ask me what I mean and I will explain. Okay, Gwen? Um, I hope you're having a lovely day too. Okay, you're talking to Sussex Love. All right. Um, as I explained to you, when you don't forget about where you come from just because you have had an issue with the place. Okay, especially where you come from a historical family like the royal family. um all right, so mm, oh, before I move on to the next slide, uh I understand what you're saying, just repeating what Harry said. uh yes, and that might well be the case, and yet we are talking about this here from the perspective of trying to figure out, put the pieces together to understand how things are playing and what it all means. So, while he might have said that in the context of what he was talking about, it's like, where do you live now? Where do you consider home for where you are living? Of course, even a blind person, even a blind person with two toes and one finger would tell you that America is where he lives at the moment, where he considers to be home. However, when you ask, where is your real home? He would not say it's America because he was not born in America. He lived all his life in the UK, except for the times that he went to other countries for whatever. So, yeah. Dana says, Wheezy, I get it. He lives in the US now and he has made it his home, but his departing speech says the UK will always be his home. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm trying to say. You just said it more eloquently than I did. All right, let's not get bogged down over the minor. Let's always come together for let's major on the major, not on the minor, okay? But I always careful to respond to certain things and reply to certain things just to make sure that everybody understands what I am trying to say. You know, I also could also be suffering from the same issue that the first lady of Nigeria suffered, being that English is not my first language, but I do try very hard. But and also I'm speaking to people. American English is also different to UK English, so I work very hard to try and make sure that my meaning on certain things is made clear. And I'm also aware that we have different viewpoints on certain points because we have different perspectives. I am British. I am British Nigerian. As if that's not enough, I'm also British. I'm Nigerian. I am black with it. While you got the American side, okay? Yeah, let's clear this up. You can have more than one home. I have three homes: Canada, Jamaica, and England. We are getting mixed up with the semantics. Thank you, Lorna. You are always a godsend. Thank you very much for making it clear. Let's not major in the minor. Let's always try to focus on the main point. Thank you very much for making the comment though, because somebody else could have been thinking that in their mind, but they just don't say anything about it. And then they go away and then they unsubscribe from my channel. Please, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let's get to 10,000 subscribers so that I can approach certain influential people to come on to this channel to give us a talk on this issue that we are facing. Okay, guys, now that we've gotten that on out of the way, I want to appeal to all of us to say, have you seen what's going on? Can you see that more is needed beyond where we were? We need to reactivate the Sussex Squad 2.0. Okay, join me as I embark on this quest to support Prince Harry's quest to push back harder against the media. We are going to need the international bodies to get involved in this. It is not a small task whatsoever. In one of my next videos, I'm going to be doing a summary of what is required to put the UN petition together. And as I've told people about this before, I have spoken with a PR expert who outlined all the strategies needed to counter a smear campaign. And as he listed all the things, like 25 different things, I could see that the Sussexes have tried it all and they've not gotten anywhere. We have seen that the British MPs have written letters to the ministers who should be in charge of triggering the Levinson 2 inquiry, and nothing happened. The Prime Minister of the UK, the new Prime Minister, has just said that the Levinson 2 inquiry is not his priority. This means that we are going to have to work harder to make it their priority. We will need to make them feel uncomfortable in the kind of headlines that they are continuing to put out. I know the task is intimidating. It's a million step challenge, but we can do it if we redirect our energies towards strategies that quiet the media channels perpetuating the smear campaign. Okay, I have volunteered to take this up, but I have said, and I need to continue to say, that I need to build my channel up to 10,000 subscribers before we can start undertaking the outreach activities to influential bodies. And I need to show that I have support of the community to achieve this. Okay, so here are the things I need: requirements to file a petition with the United Nations and the UNESCO, minimum of 10,000 subscribers. I also need 1,000 channel members. I need 1,000 Instagram followers at least. In order to make this happen, I am putting together a game plan. Don't be intimidated by the numbers. I'm putting together a game plan to see what I can do to make this happen. At this point, may I just ask you all, if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please go ahead to subscribe. Thank you very much. As you are listening to my voice now, please just tap the like button. That's right. Get me up to 1,000 likes on this video. If possible, that would be fantastical. We need to make waves, just like these people are making waves. They get together. It's funny how the devil and his cohorts, they work so well together, but it's a bit more of a challenge for the other side to do so. I have spoken to Ivy. Ivy has given me an idea of all that she has been doing so far. She has also told me that in the process of her putting her work together, that she got some threats from certain people. And so she has advised me to put protections in place before I start to do the outreach, which is part of the reason why I am looking for the 1,000 subscribers and the 1,000 channel members. Because, as you know, doing consultations with uh, experts is going to cost money, and I am going to need to be able to fund these. So, um, if that could happen, that would be fantastic. Thank you to all those people who have already answered the call. I am counting on everyone under the sound of my voice to give a thought to joining the channel membership of this channel. Let's not just be sympathizers, but also offer practical helping hand, please. Um, so, Lona says, England is the home of my birth, Jamaica is the home of my culture, and Canada is the home where I live. Seriously? Oh, okay. Let's think about it. So, Nigeria is the home of my birth, it's also the home of my culture, and then UK is the home where I live. Yeah. Andrea says, I hope all the channels will ask their groups to join with you to do this task. Please, I think there's any task that I can give to you guys who would love to help me, is please nag all the other channel channel owners to come over and see what I'm doing here. Just do what you can and nag them to come over and see whether they would not be happy to promote my channel for the reason of what I am trying to achieve here. And once I have gotten the game plan together, I am expecting a lot more people to join with the mission though. As soon as I am able to, I'm expecting a lot more people to join the mission as soon as I put the game plan together and I share it. and begin to make moves. So I'm not too worried about it, but this is what is going to be needed for us to make the kind of progress we need to make. Some of the consultations that I have had, I've already spent over £2,000 on this issue because I have had 2 to 3 consultations with lawyers and PR experts because I wanted to do my research, and I'll be sharing my findings with the channel members in due course. Thanks, Wizzy. I've been saying for a long time we need to contact these different agencies. I've even posted the contact information for a lot of these places. There's strength in numbers. Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I find is I think it's because of the schedule, the posting schedule, and everyone's so busy. You don't can't believe how tied to people's desks people are when they're doing YouTube videos. But what I find is that when I reach out to a lot of like YouTubers, I think they're so busy, they don't check their email, but it's really difficult to come together. I'm going to keep on trying though, and I haven't even fully put the game plan together, so I'm not so bothered about it. I think what we will do is like similar to what the beehive do when they want the attention of someone. I would say, okay, for instance, go to this person for me, please. I have reached out by email and all their socials, and I'm not hearing from them. Please go to their comment section and leave a comment asking them to contact me. I think that's what I would do when the time comes if I don't hear from the people I have reached out to. I think that help will be very, very useful. Very, very useful because we need to get together, and there is no way I can do this on my own. So, thank you all for being here. Thank you for listening to my TED talk. Um, what else did I want to say to you guys? Yes, update for the channel members. We are going to be hosting a channel members only live this week. Um, where I'm going to be sharing my game plan with you guys. So I will look out for that. I will leave a message on the channel members community page. Okay, so you will see it there. And yeah, there will be an opportunity to have an open mic where people can come up and give suggestions on what you think we should do. I already have a plan, but I am open to suggestions because two heads are better than one. Okay, guys, so that's all I have for this evening. Um, I didn't plan it, but does anyone have any comments they would like to make? I forgot one home. Africa is the home of my origin. um, let me drop the link in the comment section. I'll drop the link here. And if anyone has anything that they would like to say, any comments they would like to make, you can come up and you can talk for like 5 minutes or so. Otherwise, we are done, 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 done. Let me see. Mm. All right, no one's coming up. So I'm not going to keep you for much longer. Thank you, everyone, for being here. And as Cookies and Cream says, please be safe, pray, don't peg, vote. Vote, please. That voting is very important. And always hydrate. For those who have not joined the channel membership and you are not able to do so, please don't fret. There will always be a role for you if you would like to participate. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, share the video to assist in pushing the mission forward. Share your thoughts in the comment section, and your voice matters. So let's keep the conversation going, okay? This is Wheezy signing out. Until next time, ciao.